Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lancer Performance Shop, LoneStarMorePars.com. It's another cool night in the shop. It's warmer than it has been, and I actually have some free time. Bear with me, I am pretty tired, but I guess we'll call this a new one, although it's technically, I'd say like 4.5, right? And case in point being there, this is actually stuff that was back ordered from our Black Friday Cyber Monday haul, and it came in way later, and didn't obviously want to wait on it because there's just 3 items. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at this stuff, and I'm excited to kind of get it out, see what we got. Right here we had a little flyer for Vera, and nothing too crazy on there. You're probably not familiar with, doesn't look like. Same on the back side, so that's an interesting little addition. We got our Bit-O Thinks right here. That's always nice, building up a nice collection of those. And coming into the money, we'll start with this guy right here. And the standard price on it would be $16.26. It's a soft face cap for their 500 gram hammer. And if we could get that to focus, it would be lovely. It's, part number, I guess it would be, is it going to be the long one? Probably. It's probably going to be the 860560, but what this is going to do is give us a nice soft striking surface for a pretty beefy hammer. So right here, this is what we'd picked up prior, and the crazy thing is I have used this, nothing too crazy, but it has been used quite a bit since I got it, and it still looks brand new, so I was pretty happy about that. But as you can see here, we've got the head of the hammer, we got the soft cap, and we are in business now. So this is something I'm going to use here at the house in the shop, but what I am kind of wondering, at work we go through a crud ton of rubber mallets, right? And it's a situation when you come in and you're balancing things, you kind of got to dial them in, and over time, you know, rubber, we've had all kinds of brands. The best ones are the orange and black ones. I can't think of the manufacturer for some reason. I found one in a box we didn't know we had, and everyone was really happy. But probably because the box was so nasty, no one wanted to open it if they came across it. Nonetheless, though, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to see what this does, you know, in usage here. If this is prone to tearing, that would be catastrophic. We would, if this were to tear on impact, we would trash a shaft pretty bad. But I'm kind of thinking it's going to be worth trying, and I don't know that it would be better, I don't know that it would be worse, but it might be something worth exploring nonetheless. So I'll see how it does around here. It would be easier to figure it out there, but I'll just take the necessary steps, try to do it myself. So essentially, and like I said, it's a freak deal, because typically anytime I get a hammer, regardless of how nice it is, and I use it, you know, you're real sad because the finish starts to come off and you pit the head, right? And eventually you get past the point of carrying. That's one of those things you can't clean, right? You can't make it look new again. But I've been hitting some chisels with this thing, and I mean, I guess you can see a little bit of wear on it, but for as much as I have done, I was surprised it's still, you could pass this off as new if you wanted to. It probably helps that I've left the sticker on, but nonetheless, put these two together and you've got a pretty decent looking combination. So we will set that down there. Another item from Gedore that was on back order. I was pretty interested in this guy. I wanted to try him for a long time. The price was $21.42. I think the part number is on the bag, right? Yes, right there. It's going to be 6406700. This is a 10-inch grip wrench. My apologies. And what I liked about this one, if you use these a lot, and I do, it's a situation where you always get pinched by this, right? And I think Milwaukee came out with some that are kind of the easier release, kind of akin to this one. But this was a very good price, I felt, and I'd been impressed with everything else I brought in, so I kind of wanted to pick these up, give them a go. A lot of the times, it's going to sound janky, but we'll have like metal cabinets at work. We actually use these to secure them, stamps and so on. Basically, you need something really, really tight, something that actually grips to, you know, stamp. We do this the old-fashioned way, right? And so that's where I was kind of thinking these might transition there. Here around the house, honestly, in the shop, what I plan to do with these, I've got some stuff I'm going to be welding soon. My welding pliers and the existing pliers of this design, they leave a little bit to be desired, and I was kind of needing to add something to it, kind of get a new one in the mix, and I think that is what we will do with this guy. So obviously it's going to be just the same as every other pair. You get your adjustability there. It was closed previously, now we've opened it that much. It's got an interesting design on it. Should have grabbed some of my others so we could do a comparison. Of course, it is made in Austria. It's got a nice sticky coating that you can't experience, and I say that sarcastically. But the release, again, is what kind of drew me to this. The ones at work are super old. They're all metal construction, no padding, no dipping, nothing. And inevitably, when you actually use them properly to have something secured real tight, you come in and you release it, and it always gets you. If it's not when you take it off, it's when you put it back on, type of a thing, right? So this is something I'm willing to give a shot, and I honestly think at $20 bucks a piece, that's kind of in line with some of the stuff you might find at Lowe's and Home Depot anyway. So we'll give it a go. I might keep a track on the video length here and go grab another one. Last thing that came in, and these, the soft cap and the which these were probably pushed pretty hard too, if I remember right. But this was a super sale item during Cyber Monday, essentially. And these are from NWS. If they look familiar to you, they should, because I've unboxed pretty much their brethren before. And the catch is, what's different is the finish. Now, a lot of people, when they see the NWS pliers, they love them. And then everyone else that actually knows what they are and doesn't love them, they complain about how they don't grip well. And I've had several of you leave comments and you claim that it's the finish on the pliers. I haven't particularly experienced that yet. Limited use here around the house, but I can tell you the cheapest ones I got, which I can't remember how long I've had them, they're just the standard non-fancy sci-fi grip ones. Those things grab really good in my opinion. Now they are the Titan finish, right? That's going to be what you kind of have here with a more natural look. I grabbed these so we could just showcase them. This is the exact same pair of pliers, the only difference is being the finish. Again, we've got the Titan finish here, and we've got what they call, is it matte chromium or just chromium? Can't remember now, but I know chromium is involved, so we'll just run with that. Otherwise, I mean, these are exactly the same. They're 8-inch high leverage pliers, and I have used these a little bit, but they're one of those things I've just kind of put them on the back burner because I've been using the cheaper ones, right? So I think the cheaper ones I got are 7-inch. Could be wrong, I'm not sure. But the main reason for bringing these in, and I think the reason it took so long to get them, is because everyone was buying them. These would standard retail for like $28.08, somewhere right around $28. If you ever opt for the chromium finish, it's just a little bit more. It's kind of like the code blue with channel lock or something. So you can trick them out like this, get the nice handles. Catch is, you pay a little bit extra for the chromium. So some people are going to prefer that, some people are going to prefer this. A lot of you that have apparently used these say these don't grip well. They have in my limited use, but again, that is, you can't really see. There's a couple of divots in them, but I mean, it's not been used to the point that we might have issues, I guess. Haven't torture tested them or anything. But these people have said that they actually grip better. And like I said, the El Cheapos, which they're actually on the duster, the fender cover here. These, if what I've been using, and I've had zero issues with that, so I'm pretty content with them. But we will, what I will do to kind of have a control, since these haven't been used much, we will actually try to alternate these like I do with the screwdrivers, kind of behind the scenes when I'm actually doing something productive and not talking into a camera. All right, and we will just kind of see, like if I start noticing that these suck and don't grab and these do, vice versa, if they perform about the same, if I couldn't tell you the difference if I were to spray paint them both blue. We'll see how it pans out. But again, the biggest selling point for these, $11.99. That's right, 12 bucks for a pair of 8-inch combination pliers. And the catch is they have a really sweet grip on them. This wasn't the El Cheapos, right? With like just your standard plastic handle, right, or the cheap stuff. This is the fully loaded, top of the line almost for $12. And I do believe that that created a bit of an uproar there, as I suppose many people purchase these because that was a really good deal. This wasn't just a like sale price, take your X percentage off. This was we're cutting the price ridiculously low. Let's see if we can sell them. And they did. So, like I said, though, I've really liked the grips on these. The finish so far, again, I've had no issues with. But the thing is, if you are in a position where, you know, you have to bring your own tools, or, you know, you often have like a work area or a project, whatever it may be, and everyone's tools kind of get strung out. You know, one guy has to get the phone, the other goes to grab lunch. I don't know all the particulars, but no one is going to mistake these, right? Everyone's going to have Kleins, everyone's going to have channel locks, they're going to have cheap stuff. But if you have these sci-fi gripped pliers sitting on a counter, right, or a frame out job or something, whatever you're doing, people are gonna know these are yours, right? And that there is a certain benefit to that, in my opinion. So that is that, though. This was sort of the back-ordered items from that little Cyber Monday haul. So I will do my dangest, like I said, to alternate these. And I'll try to keep them on sort of the same job. That way we don't do something really nasty with one pair and then use this for the easy stuff. I'll try to put them both through the paces. Which, if it ever warms up enough where my fingers don't get numb, I've got a lot of crud I'm going to be doing in here. So it's going to be body work. It's going to be rusty old metal. And that will put these through the paces in terms of their grip, how they resist finish. Marring, things along those lines. So what I will do now is I'll see if I can find some of the pliers I'm currently using, and we can just sort of do a direct comparison real quick to these. I do want to point out these kind of have the satin finish. Some people like it, some people don't. I personally prefer it. It kind of feels better in hand. There's less slip, which again, a lot of that is sort of like the grease. I guess kind of grabbing my hand. But truth be told, I never got all the grease off from the tubing I was messing with earlier at work. So there these are. I'll go see if I can find what I've got so we can sort of take a look at the upgrade, and then we will wrap this one up. Alright, it's been like 5 minutes looking for those, and I realized I had them joining some metal together. So they're staying put because I ain't taking them off. But the small pair I found, which they're actually in a little bit better shape, they're just some standard old Vise-Grips there, right? And make them a little bit larger, you'll see what I mean. But note the jaw pattern there. Typically, with everything I've got, it's got that same jaw pattern, whereas these new ones, they've actually got that kind of bend down, which I think would grab stuff a little bit better. Bolts, punches, whatever it might be. So I'm excited to test that out. But the main contrast point is right here. I told you everything was metal on what I had, right? And as you use these more and more, again, these are in pretty good shape. They're fairly old, but they're in really good working order still. The more you use these and the more they get worn out, the more that like flops around. And then when this is put on something and it's gripping really, really tight, right, you have to come in, and I mean every freaking time. And if it doesn't get you, like I said, when you take them off, it gets you when you put them back on. And it's one of those things, I just get sick of it over time. And I'm excited to see how these work. And what I liked is, if you note, and this is kind of something I don't know if anyone noticed prior, but it's not just that this lines up, but it's offset. And so I can come in with my fourth finger. That's always the awkward finger to use. And it's literally a one finger operation. Obviously, if we had this really tight, we might have to put a little bit more effort into it. But the main thing, I've got space back here to articulate it, but what I will probably use is sort of just like the paddle on the side. So if I come in here left-handed so you can actually kind of see it, there we are. Boom, released. I'm excited to try it, and again, I've been watching these. I nearly bought the Milwaukee ones about a year ago, and I talked myself out of it because I thought they were too expensive. I think it was like one of those 2 or 3 piece sets, and I was afraid they wouldn't be any good, but that is going to be a lifesaver. And again, if these turn out to perform well here around the shop, I'm going to get some for work. And they will be very much appreciated there. But again, pay attention to that jaw design, because that's kind of interesting. Something typically what I see and what I have, which granted it's all pretty old, is a straight jaw, right? So they sort of look more intimidating as well. Not if that's worth anything performance-wise. Case in point, the other ones I use, these are just Harbor Freight ones. And they, for their credit, they've been through a lot and held up well. But, I mean, same thing over time. This creates the same thing as the Vise-Grips. And once you get pinched enough, man, it really starts to tick you off. And I don't know why I grabbed these, but I did. So I will leave it at that, though. Again, that was it. That was our leftover stuff from the Cyber Monday haul. So if you have used these before, let me know. Similarly, if you're using anything else particularly anything with a paddle off to the side. That's that easy to operate and release. How do they perform for you? How long have they lasted? Do they have a better lifespan than the old school style? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let me know, because like I said, I sort of bring this stuff in to try it and see how I like it. And then obviously if it's something that I love, that's when I'll consider bringing some stuff in for work. But I think this would be a nice upgrade. And so many of the pairs, you know, they're not broken per se, but it's a situation where this pops out right, which I'm not going to do it because these are in good working order. But then they become a real pain, and you get pinched even more because you have to set that back in and, you know, kind of simultaneously on some pairs reset everything and shut it or maintain tension to get it in. You know what I'm talking about if you use Vise-Grips a lot. But this is my first ever pair that's actually got a padded handle, and I like that it is offset, so that's probably what I'm the most excited about from this whole thing. This again is something I'm just wanting to test out, kind of see how long this lasts is going to be the big thing. And then at that point in time, I might throw some old shafts on and kind of put it through the paces there, see how it does. And like I said, that could be something else I bring into the arsenal for work. And the main thing here, these were just a stupid goodbye. And I cannot argue with that. I've really been impressed with them. I love the way they feel in hand. And like I said, I will attempt to do my best to cycle between these two and see how they perform. But that's why you watch Tool of the Day. That's why you watch the big sales from time to time. Subscribe to newsletters, because you could spend $35 for these. You could spend right under $30 for these. Or if you keep track of things on a regular basis, you can score these for less than half off, right? Half price on these would be like 14-ish. We got them for $11.99. That's awesome. So, with that said, I'll quit rambling. If you've used any of this stuff, always let me know your thoughts on it. If you never knew any of it existed, same thing. The soft face, I'm always curious. That's not something a lot of people think of, putting a soft face on like a legit hammer. And it's typically like, well, you know, we got to get a brass, or we got to go about it a different way with a rubber mallet type of a thing. So I'm excited to see how that performs. I've kind of got my suspicions, but we'll see what it does. And $16 if it's a short wear item. That's a tough pill to swallow. But another option, you know, you can throw like brass rings around something and kind of just use the old school hammer, not have the soft cap. But I don't know, different ways to do different things. We're going to see how this one goes. So I'll quit rambling. I've actually, as of today, earlier at work, I had another delivery come in. We're going to take a look at it, and I hope I will catch you back here for the next unboxing.